Olá! Today our class is about Usted and Ustedes commands. To tell someone respectfully to do or not to do something, we are going to use the Usted or Ustedes commands. So in order to give an affirmative or negative command in the Usted or Ustedes form, you're going to first conjugate that verb in the yo form because you're going to use the yo form as your stem. The second thing you do, you're going to drop the O and add the following endings. You're going to add E or N for AR verbs. For example, probar. Then you have the verb probar. You conjugate in the yo form. It's very important for you to do that because whatever irregularity that the yo form has, you're going to carry that to the commands. So you say, yo pruebo. So then you drop the O and you put the opposite vowel. Since probar is an AR verb, you put an E at the end. So if you're talking to one person in a respectful way, you say, Señor, pruebe el té. But if you're talking to a group of señores, you say, Señores, prueben el té. If you have an ER or IR verb, as we said before, you're going to use the opposite vowel. So you have, for example, the verb comer. You say yo como. So you use como, but remember, drop the O. And then you say, for instance, Señor, coma la merienda. Okay? And if you're talking to a group of señores, you say, Señores, coman la merienda. The same thing with an IR verb. So it doesn't matter if it's an ER or IR verb, you use the opposite vowels. You're going to add a or an to the end of the command. So añadir, to add, you say yo añado. So drop the O, use the stem. And if you're talking to one sir, you say, Señor, añada la sal. But if you're talking to a group of señores, you say, Señores, añadan la sal. What about if you want to tell people not to do something for you? Well, in a respectful way, all you have to do is to add no before the verb to make commands negative. So if you're telling the sir, you say, Sir, do not add more salt. All you have to do is the same thing. So you say, Sir, Señor, you put the no, conjugate the verb añadir in the yo form, drop the O and put the opposite vowel. So you have something like, Señor, no añada más sal. Okay? Let's see one example with an ER verb. The verb perder, okay? It's a stem changing verb. So again, you need to conjugate in the yo form, pierdo, then you drop the O, and you put the opposite vowel. In this case, since you're talking to more than one person using the ustedes command, you're going to use AN at the end. So, no pierdan ustedes los platos. Let's see, the verb servir is an IR verb. Again, conjugating the yo form. Sirvo, so whatever is irregular in the yo form here, you're going to continue to use in the commands. Drop the O. And you say, Señorita, sirva, put the opposite vowel, la ensalada. You need to be careful with verbs that end in CAR, GAR, and ZAR because you have spelling change in the command form. So, for example, buscar, you say, the usted form, you say, busque, ustedes busquen. Pagar, pague, paguen. Empezar, empiece, empiecen. So it's the same rules that we saw before. So you change the C to QU, you change the G to GU, and you change the Z to a C. So remember, you need to make those changes in order to keep the same sound. Let's see more examples. In the negative command, if you say, don't look for something, talking to a usted form, you say no busque, and ustedes form no busquen. No pague, pagar, no paguen. No empiece, empezar, no empiecen. It's very important that you always conjugate in the yo form before you change anything. Like the verb hacer, you need to say hago, so you say no hago, drop the O, and then you go no haga for usted, no hagan for ustedes. Now, again, we have irregular usted and ustedes commands. So some verbs will not follow the steps. Step number 1, conjugate in the io form. Step number 2, drop the o. Step number 3, put the opposite vowel. These verbs, you really need to memorize them. And they are the verbs dar, estar, ir, saber, ser, y haber. Let's see how they change. So the verb dar, for usted, you're going to say de, with an accent mark. Ustedes, den, no accent mark. Estar, usted, esté, ustedes, estén. Both have accent marks. Ir, to go, usted, vaya, ustedes, vayan. Saber, usted, sepa, ustedes, sepan. Ser, usted, sea, ustedes, sean. Haber, which means to exist. We have seen this verb in the present tense, which is I, when you say, hay una maestra en la clase. So there is or exist, okay? Now, in the command form, you say, for usted, you say haya, ustedes, you say hayan. How about if we watch a song in order to help us remember the irregular usted and ustedes command?
Vaya, vaya, se pasea de este. Vaya, vaya, se pasea de este.
Well, I hope that was helpful. Make sure you review this video and practice. If you have questions, you can ask me in class. Gracias.